you might have went over the head of some of my listeners out there when you talked about Fort Detrick, because the only other person they've ever heard talk about Fort Detrick on this show outside of Brother Muhammad is Dick Gregory. So talk about the reference to Enemy of the State and then Fort Detrick and what has gone on at Fort Detrick.
Well, that was Nia's verse, and I believe what she was talking about was the, well, first of all, the pollution that's caused by Fort Detrick. We live right by the base where it's a research center. And they, research on monkeys, burn them, but also many diseases were formed at Fort Detrick. Anthrax, H1N1, right. There's rumors of HIV being manipulated there.
That's right.
So, that's a big thing. People live right next to this place and don't even question their own reality.
Right. That's right.
To make a stand about this place, because it's all the fuels that they let in the air every day are harmful, and there's a lot of people that have cancer in Frederick. I don't know if it's just Frederick. I'm sure it's all over from all of the chemicals.
That's right.
Even the ones we're eating, but it's a big issue that people overlook every day in our city.
Right. And there was a story, of course, of Dr. Olson. A lot of people aren't familiar with that story, but the issue of the LSD, and his son was suing, of course, the CIA in Fort Detrick to find out what happened to his father, who they claim jumped out of a window in New York City, but there was some experimentation
on people.
Right. Yes. Okay.
It's like the modern day Holocaust over there.
Right. That's right. Again, family, just tuning in, having a conversation with the young generation, talking to some young folk, because I'm a young folk too, so I got to talk to young folk. But let's talk about, again, because you're two young women, talk about women in hip-hop, because this is what's needed. Hip-hop seems to be out of balance because we see more men. It's male-dominated. We see all of the isms, the asms, the scasms, the misogynistic songs, videos, etc. So talk about the role of women in hip-hop and the role of women to basically take back hip-hop and shape and mold hip-hop so that there's some détente or balance. Can you talk about that?
Well, I know for myself, a lot of people say that I'm so old school. Like, when they think of me, they think of MC Lyte or Queen Latifah.
Empowering.
Right. And I want to embody that in my music, because I feel like the 90s with Public Enemy and, KRS-One, all of that was like an awakening time. And we've gone so far away from pure hip-hop. Everyone wants to, like you said before, dumb it down. We're not trying to dumb anything down. We're giving it to you raw. We're giving you the facts straight, straight up. This is what it is. Wake up. And I feel like as women, we are constantly fighting this uphill battle of, you gotta have your breast all out, have your butt exposed in order to be, accepted. You gotta have sex with the producer in order for the producer to promote your music. And we're just so against all that. We don't want to promote selling out. When we perform, we're fully clothed and
modest.
That's right.
It's like we're going against that. We want people to listen to our message. Tune in with your spirits and listen to our hearts. It's not about sex. It's about the information.
That's right. All right. And for you, Sister Red?
Well, yeah, I mean, right now, the music for women, and Nicki Minaj and all that, the fakeness, the needing to fit the cookie cutter image to get somewhere, can discourage a lot of women like us that have true talent, to do it, but also it kind of empowers us to do it because, we want to change that. We want to change that. Oh, you have to sell sex. Oh, you have to be this. I've been offered deals, in the past that are like, well, we want you to be like Eve. We want you to be this way. We want you to be like this person. I'm like, no, I'm going to be myself. And if you don't believe in just me as I am, then I don't need to work with you.
Right. Makes sense.
And I think that that's good for women to see that because, people that approach me after my shows and stuff, they're like, you are so comfortable in your own skin. And I'm like, yes, I embody me. I don't embody a Barbie. I embody myself.
Good.
So I think that that's going to be the new trend. Bubblegum rap only will last a couple years. But Lauryn Hill, she still rocks after 11 years.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's very true. Talk about for you, because again, I jokingly said you have another complexion connection, and I called you jokingly, of course, the Tina Marie of hip hop. When I look at you and I see your face, how's the response of many of your audiences that may be black, brown, red, yellow, and white when you pull up or you come from behind them curtains? And because people out there listening, they may not see you. But, it's one thing, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but then how's the response when they see how a sister like you of another complexion can, of course, hold your own as it relates to conscious rap?
Right. Well, usually before I perform, people are looking at me like I'm crazy and are really disrespectful, honestly.
Right.
And I just think it's like going into a battle, every time. And I feel victorious every time because I surprise them.
Right.
And I love that shock factor. I love them knowing that, yeah, I'm a white girl,
right,
and I still can rip it harder than a lot of people you know.
Right.
It's nothing to do with color. It's beyond color.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the spirit, the
That's
heart,
right.
the fearlessness.
Right.
Like, I'm not scared to represent.
Right.
So I think that is actually one of the reasons I did start doing this, because I've been writing since I was 8 years old, and I always wanted to do this deep down in my heart, is, rap. And for a lot of years, I put that aside because of the fact that I'm a white girl. People be like, you're a white girl, don't even try.
Right.
And I was like, I started like really thinking about like Eminem and thinking about how he really, though he doesn't rap about all that good stuff,
sure,
but he broke the cookie cutter image, and
There's
people
so
love him for it.
Right.
Like, everyone respects Eminem, and he's one of the richest rappers in the world because of that, because of his skin color, and he rips it. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I just like seeing people's look on their face after I'm done. It's exhilarating.
Right. Okay. Talk about some of the other rap groups, if you're familiar with artists such as Mortal Technique, that sometimes don't get, because when I see you, I think about, again, a Mortal Technique, Rebel Diaz, which is some, hip hop brothers and sisters from Palestine, and some of the other groups sometimes that aren't played on mainstream radio, mainstream media, but they're having more of an effect on a grassroots level than some of these artists like Jay-Z or the cookie cutter manufactured artists. Can you talk about that?
Immortal Technique is my idol because he completely, not only did he annihilated the government, really, because he made money off of his music.
That's right.
And never sold out.
Right.
And that's exactly what we want to do. Is do the underground, promote positivity.
Right.
And I really do believe if people hear one track of Immortal Techniques next to 50 of Jay-Z's, they'll be moved by him.
That's
Yeah. And it doesn't matter about his color, because what is he, from Peru?
Yeah, he's from Peru.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Peru or Bolivia, I believe.
Right.
Right.
And I just love the promoting that oneness, the oneness of humanity. And the world is but one country, and mankind's as citizens, So it's important that we give respect to him for that.
That's right. Yeah, we have to. Sister Josiah, anything you want to say on that as we talk about some of these other conscious rappers that are outside the mainstream, and that stream seems to be filthy and a cesspool, so I'd like to stay outside of that stream of that, because there's an ocean out there. Because when you listen to most of Radio 1 and some of these other corporate control hip-hop stations, they basically play the same 5 to 20 artists. They don't go outside of the box. So can you talk about these other artists such as yourself, the Immortal Techniques, the Rebel Diaz, the Precise Science, and others that are really connected to the community? Because all change comes from the bottom. It's not going to come from the top.
Right.
The top manipulates it. When it's from the top, it's a coup d'etat. But when it's coming from the bottom, it's a real revolution and an evolution. So can you talk about those artists that are outside of the mainstream?
Oh, yes. Well, you brought up two great things just now. You said grassroots, and you also said revolution.
Right.
So let's talk about grassroots. I was talking to my partner, Sarah, Miss Fred, about this whole movement. What is the purpose of us really doing this?
Right.
A lot of times we get frustrated because we feel like, will we ever make it? But I said the other day, I made a comment to her like, I don't think I ever want to be mainstream.
That's right. Yes.
Because fame comes from within. And I'd rather move a group of people Okay, we rather be hands-on in the community.
That's right.
Than ever make it to a MTV, a
Right,
BET, a VH1. It's not about that.
That's right.
It's about making a change in yourself first,
That's
and
right.
then in the others around you in our community.
Right.
So I think a lot of the underground artists that you two were referring to do that.
Right.
And they also have to be selfless. That's a word that comes up. That's what Spirit just told me. When you're doing such acts, you know, for humanity, it's sacrifice, you know.
But also, sorry to interrupt.
That's right.
But also, for instance, there are certain artists that slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
And I pray that we're one of them.
Right. We always got the most steps, the Talib Kweli's.
Right. The most common,
right.
Lupe Fiasco.
Right. Lupe, right.
Lauryn Hill. You know, those artists that slip through the cracks, and they made such a difference. Like, they made you think. Like, Life Jennings
Right.
and his Don't Be a Booty Call.
That's
Like,
right.
that will make women that just went to the club and popped their all night think about that.
Right.
You know, and it made a lot of girls, when they hear it, they're like, that song makes me feel like crap.
Right.
But it's the truth, and
That's
sometimes the truth hurts, you know.
That's right. And it should. You know, it's supposed to indict and kind of excite and incite something to do self-analysis. Is that me? Do I conduct myself that way, so that we can begin to kind of look at that self-accused spirit within all of us and begin to clean up, so that we can be a better people than we are today, tomorrow, and into the future. Family, we'll take a few more calls. If you got a question or comment for, again, Outliers, the conscious hip-hop rap group featuring Sister Nia Josiah and Miss Red. So give us a call or comment, 410-761-1592 if you want to get in on the conversation. Get in where you fit in where you get in. I know my young people out there listening, so please, leave mom and them in the living room or upstairs. You sneak downstairs and give us a call, 410-761-1592. If you're in the car with mom and you just want to snatch that cell phone, give us a call, 410-761-1592. We ain't on Facebook. We right here where you can face the nation, and you can face us with whatever questions or comments you have, 410-761-1592. We'll take a couple more minutes with these sisters. And again, we're going to close out with one of your tracks. What's one of the other tracks on here we can close out with you guys?
We have Dream Killers.
Dream Killers? Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of them. It's probably going to say, be on the lookout for them spirit snipers, you know?
Yeah,
so we
like that.
Always keep on the lookout for them spirit snipers is what they are. Let me come to the lines, take your calls, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the stage of City. Question or comment for our conscious hip-hop artists in the studio?
What kind of message do they want to shoot out to the young people where they can really feel where they coming from? Thank you.
All right, thank you for your call.
Does he mean like putting? I believe he means putting ourselves in their shoes.
Yeah, in terms of the message, right?
Right. Oh yeah, I love doing that. That's why I like doing subliminal messages, because at one point I was those people. I was asleep. I was so unhappy. I was doing things that were not in my character.
Right.
And you can't judge those people. You know what I mean? You can't. You got to shower them with love.
That's
you
right.
can't overcome hate with hate. You overcome it with love. So we show love to those people. That's why, you know, we don't act like we're better than them. Nothing like that. Like a lot of our friends, you know, probably don't care about the things we do. But that doesn't mean that we cut them off and we don't, you know, show them love, because at one point they're going to remember us and they're going to be like, hey, that was a true friend to me. Maybe I should look into their spirituality and check that out, you know?
Yes, that's
And it's all about upliftment. Like, you know, you have to uplift the youth. And I always say I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
And as we climb the ladder of upward mobility, we have to bring others up the ladder as well.
That's right.
So it's constantly looking back and pulling up.
That's right.
You know?
Right. Can't be like that scene we saw, we remember with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan in Rush Hour, where he grabbed the ladder and you jumping. And this is what we have, unfortunately. We got some elders, well, not real true elders wouldn't do that, but some old folk, that they got up the ladder and they pulled the ladder, as opposed to sliding the ladder back down so that the next generation can climb up as well.
We feel like we're mavericks, but in this, as we mark our way through life, we're also saying, you know, come follow us.
Right.
Come follow us through truth, you know,
Mhm.
light, law, love.
Right.
These are the teachings of the Creator that
Right.
we have to embody as a people.